Protesters against the death penalty gathered in front of the state capitol in Baton Rouge this afternoon. They delivered petitions to Governor Jeff Landry opposing the scheduled nitrogen gas execution of Jesse Hoffman tomorrow. But Hoffman's execution has been paused. Today, a judge blocked it, at least until he can hear arguments tomorrow morning on whether the method of nitrogen hypoxia violate Hoffman's religious rights. 30 years ago, Hoffman raped and murdered Mary Molly Elliott. But now, as Alyssa Curtis reports, he's counting on the courts to intervene and allow him a different method of execution.
After a 15-year pause on executions in Louisiana, Jesse Hoffman could take his last breath Tuesday. He was sentenced to death in 1998 after he raped and murdered Mary Molly Elliott. Now, decades later, Hoffman's lawyers say he isn't trying to avert his sentence, but rather the method.
He has said, put me in front of a firing squad.
Hoffman and his legal team argue death by nitrogen hypoxia infringes on his rights to practice Buddhism through breathing meditation in his critical last moments. Plus, they say this method is cruel and unusual punishment, a violation of the Eighth Amendment.
The state wants to sort of distinguish between physical pain, somatic pain, and emotional pain. But as we know, there is a huge gray area when you're talking about torture.
They've tried to get his argument heard and ruled in favor of. Middle District Judge Shelley Dick did just that, but the Fifth Circuit overturned it. Now Cecilia Capel says they filed a petition hoping the highest court in the country can make a decision.
There is a serious split between the Fifth and Sixth Circuits on one side and basically all of the other circuits in the whole country on the side of yes, mental torture is torture.
But Loyola law professor Dane Ciolino says up to this point, the Supreme Court has denied to hear any case about death by nitrogen hypoxia.
It's anybody's guess what the United States Supreme Court will do. In a very similar case in Alabama, just over a year ago, the court declined to even address the issue on the merits.
And if they do, Ciolino says that could mean extending the execution and likely others in the state for another year. But Hoffman's lawyers aren't giving up.
We can't count on anything, and so we are trying every available option.
Alyssa Curtis, WWL, Louisiana.
Attorney General Liz Murrill released a statement in response to the execution temporarily being put on hold. Now, she says, quote, attorneys for Mr. Hoffman continue to file pleadings in an attempt to see what will stick. We'll continue to address them as they come. However, I expect the execution to go forward as planned.